This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Well, good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM here on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Wednesday, November 23rd, 2022. It is Thanksgiving Eve, and we're so glad you can join us today. In today's episode of Ag Matters PM, I talk with National Corn Growers Association Chairman Chris Edgington about what's going on right now in the ethanol industry. We also have a look at that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're at the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, and for a bit of analysis, we go to Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. Robin, first off, what do we see going on in the grain markets today?
Well, we did have at least a decent moving into a close today. So, and part of that's because it was thin trading, but also I think some of it had to do with soybean able to shake the overnight losses because of surging COVID. The losses were because of surging COVID cases in China, but the market was able to shake that as we move through it into the close, and probably some light trading, squaring up with some positions prior to the Thanksgiving holiday. And then we have to remember that on Friday, we have a shorter trading day. We trade till 12:05. Now we'll start at 8:30 in the morning, so there won't be any trading on the overnight and Thursday. So we have a shorter trading day that we'll be dealing with. But we were able to shape those losses. Corn able to find some support, even though we're looking at potentially the recent trade agreement between China and Brazil, that Brazil's corn exports are going to surge because of China coming in, being able to take advantage of corn coming from Brazil. So we may have a little bit less business maybe coming to our shores. That's possible. But in the big picture, you know, we do ship out a lot of corn. So it kind of looked past all of that stuff, looked past some of the pressure coming in off of the lower fuel prices, crude oil, and that had a lot to do with the China situation. Now, on the wheat side, China will auction 40,000 metric tons of their state-owned wheat on Wednesday next week, just in order to curtail some of the rising prices in the country. They've been doing some of these auctions here and there on their soybeans and corn and things like that, but really hasn't seemed to make a whole lot of influence on the market, but it's something that they're doing internally to do that. So it wasn't a lot of other news outside of that, but bearish part of that, which the market again did overcome, was the possibility of a rail strike taking place, because some of the unions voted down the government proposal that took place in September. So we are getting closer. And if we don't get anything rectified here within about the next 2 weeks, we could be facing a strike on the railway. And that would be devastating, not only for the grain market, but it would be devastating for the economy in general. I think something will probably be done, some stop measure or whatever. But anyway, it's something that's looming over the top of the market. Now, protesters in Brazil were blocking traffic on some key roads today that are used for grain transport in response, not because of price or anything else, but in response to the defeat of their president, Jair Bolsonaro, on the last election. Some of those, the protests are becoming less, but they're becoming more violent. That's what's the news that's coming out of there. So they were blocking roads today, hindering some of the soybeans getting to the ports, getting to places to ship out. Now, parts of Argentina did receive some rain, but there's a lot of parts that are still dry yet. So we've got a lot of different sides of the news coming there, but yet markets were a little positive, and I think the bottom line there was that we had some thinner trades, so the market could move a little more easily, and it moved to the upside.
And what about the livestock side of things? I mean, with that COVID situation, is it going to have, an equal or even greater effect on those livestock prices?
Well, it doesn't really seem like it at this point in time. Now, we were lower in the livestock, both the cattle and the hogs today, by and large. I don't think that seems to be having that much of an impact at this point. Now, maybe some of the news did a little more, because actually cash cattle traded $3 to $4 higher today. There was anticipation for $1 or $2 higher. We didn't know where we were going to go with that because packers were short bought coming into this holiday shortened week, but they did open up their wallets and trade $3 to $4 higher as they needed that cattle. But the other side of it, the futures didn't respond. So it could have some of the spillover from the COVID situation, maybe from potentially a little bit lower exports to to China, maybe, but it just didn't respond. And that might be a response, might be a little bit later after we get through the holidays. We did have a bullish cattle on feed report, but the disappointing part of the action in the market was only 1 day up off of the cattle on feed report. And since then, we've been floundering. Now, feeder cattle were down in response to the higher corn price. That's a strong correlation there. Box beef prices were mixed at midday. They were down $3.22 for choice, and they were up 33 cents for select. So that also had a little bit of a bearing on what the futures were doing. Now, hogs, cash hogs are slightly lower. First 2 days of this week, they were a little higher. Normally, we see lower prices on Monday, higher prices Tuesday, Wednesday. This week kind of threw a wrench in everything. We saw higher prices on Monday, Tuesday, and today we saw a little bit lower prices on the midday hog report. Now, that could change once we get the final in for the rest of the day. Cutouts were down $1.55. That's been the anchor on the hog market from really seeing a strong trend higher in the nearby months is the cutouts. They've been struggling for a period of time now, but there is optimism in that June on out through the end of the year, primarily to July and August and October hogs, because they've been making new contract highs consistently. Today, not, but they have been making new contract highs consistently. So we're seeing the potential for tightening numbers. We're seeing lighter weights. We're seeing stronger slaughter. And that is giving the impression that we're going to see some tighter supplies as we move a little bit later next year.
All right, Robin. Well, lots of great information today. For those of our listeners and our viewers who would like to get in touch with the folks at agmarket.net and learn more, how can they do that?
They can call me directly at 877-256-3253 or go to our website, agmarket.net. We have the phone number on there, and you can pick up or call, and anybody will pick up and be able to help you.
Always great to chat with you, Robin. Thanks for the analysis today, as always, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and thanks for letting me be on, and happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
That again was Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers closed. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. At the close, December corn up 6.5 at $6.63 1/4. January soybeans up 6 1/4 at $14.36 even. January soybean meal up $2.40 at $407.40. Soybean oil up 76 at $72.20. Chicago wheat up 2 even at $7.93 1/2. Minneapolis spring wheat up 11 3/4 at $9.57 3/4. Kansas City hard red wheat up 4 3/4 at $9.30 1/4. And December oats down 5 even at $3.94 3/4. On the Merc, December live cattle down 45 at $153.35. January feeders down 242 at $179.25. December lean hogs down 30 at $83.95. Pork cutout down 140 at $93.20. And November Class 3 milk up a penny at $21.04. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with National Corn Growers Association Chairman Chris Edgington. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Well, this year saw several victories for the ethanol industry. There was a summertime extension for E15, and the Next Generation Fuels Act was introduced in the Senate, among many other small victories that they had. And National Corn Growers Association Chairman Chris Edgington said a victory for the ethanol industry is a victory for the consumer as well.
Well, first thing, let's talk about the wins for this year, where we got the emergency E15 during the summer, which was really a big deal because it helped the consumer save a lot. You saw E15 this summer a lot of times priced 50 cents under E10, and so the consumer, it was a big win for the consumer. It's a good win for ethanol industry as well, but in the cost of inflation and rising other costs, the fact that they could pull up to the pump and get E15 for 50 cents a gallon cheaper was a really good deal. And obviously we also got the Next Generation Fuels Act introduced in the Senate. We already had it introduced in the House, and then we got it introduced in the Senate. And so now we'll, with a new congressional group, starting after the first of the year, we'll have to get things reintroduced. But the fact that it's been introduced in both the House and the Senate, and we've got champions that want to get them reintroduced and get going, we'll be able to make a lot more progress next year on the Next Generation Fuels Act, which will be a win for ethanol, but a win for the consumer as well, because it'll allow higher blends of ethanol in the fueling stations, which will lower the cost. And today's automakers, they want a higher blend of octane. They want more octane. They want a higher compression engine. And the Next Generation Fuels Act will get there. It'll bring E15 and E85 right along with it, which the consumer's already comfortable with and use. And you look at California, and they're buying E85 out there for $2 or $3 a gallon cheaper than their regular gasoline. The demand's fantastic, and even though they've got that EV look and push out there, they're figuring out that liquid fuels are here, and they're going to be here for a long time. And E85 plays really well in the California market as well as across the rest of the country.
It's thanks in large part to the support from the USDA and the EPA that the summertime moratorium on E15 was lifted. Edgington said he looks forward to receiving their support in the future as well.
And we have to really thank the USDA and the EPA, because they were both solidly behind that. And so that really helped the Biden administration feel comfortable that this was a good deal. And the USDA has obviously got the HBIP and the BBIP program, where they're trying to help build more infrastructure for that very purpose, to be able to get more E15, E20, E30 out in the market. And so we've got those agencies behind us, and we think they're going to stay behind us and continue to help us push to be able to have E15 again this next summer and forever into the future.
Rather than favoring one energy solution over the other, it's important to take an all-of-the-above energy strategy. Edgington said that this doesn't just benefit the consumer, it also increases the country's energy independence.
Well, we really do. All of those, the all-of-above strategy helps the American consumer. It helps our energy independence, where we don't have to rely on foreign oil, where you don't worry about a war that disrupts an oil supply like what Europe is really struggling with, and the fact that they get a lot of their energy supplies out of Russia, and right now that's a challenge. And we don't have to rely on the Middle East, where some days they like us and some days they don't. If we've got fully independent energy supplies here in the U.S., we can just center on that, and that's where domestic oil production, domestic ethanol, domestic renewable diesel, and then you throw in the wind and solar and nuclear and hydro and all of the other energy sources we have our ability to do. We can be totally energy independent, and that's really good for the American consumer and for America in general.
It's time to stop thinking of ethanol as a new product. At this point, ethanol is a proven and effective fuel source that can be made available to people across the U.S. Edgington said that the advancements we've seen in corn production over the past decade have farmers ready to ramp up ethanol production now.
Yeah, we are, and ethanol is not a Johnny-come-lately anymore. It's a proven product. It's a proven production practice. The corn farmers have stepped up the supply. We grow about on a trend line basis, we grow about 2 bushels more an acre year over year, which doesn't sound like a lot until you look at we got 90 million acres, which means we got 180 million more bushels of corn across the Corn Belt every year, even in a year like this one where we had drought challenges in the western half. And they still is a pretty good crop. The seed genetics have come a long ways in the last 15 and 20 years, even in the last 5 in some cases. And so we've got the product. We can meet our demand for livestock. We can meet the demand for ethanol. We can meet our export demand. So it's the corn is a great deal. It's we're already getting 4,000 products out of corn and ethanol and its whole lineage is part of that. And I keep saying we need to get to 5,000 because there's still untapped potential inside the corn plant.
Edgington added that they're always looking for opportunities to educate both consumers and Congress on the benefits of ethanol in order to make it a more widely accepted fuel source.
Well, and that's just part of our continually evolving education process, whether it's with the consumer or whether it's with Congress. But we're always talking about what we're doing and how we are producing more with less. And how we're more sustainable and how we're more renewable and all of the things we're doing with conservation that's good for the environment, and yet we're still producing a really good crop. And so, but it's a continually evolving education process. It just really is. And the consumer is farther and farther removed, and they've got their head down. They're doing their thing. They've got their job. They've got their family. They're doing that, and they just want to know when they go to the grocery store, they go to the gas station, that they're getting a good product at a fair price, and they can go home and take care of other things.
Edgington said they're also trying to increase usage of other corn byproducts like dried distiller grains or DDGs.
The ethanol industry is continuing to grow and continuing to evolve, and one of the products that people don't talk about much is the dried distiller's grain, which is the feed byproduct that comes, and the world loves that product. It goes to about 130, 140 countries right now to feed livestock because it comes out of an ethanol plant at 10% moisture, 28, 29% protein, and can be transported anywhere in the world and is shelf stable basically so that they can have it and feed it to their livestock, whether it's dairy or beef or pork or poultry or aquaculture. And so it's a winning product that is also used immensely in the U.S., especially in the cattle feeding industry, where they have absolutely fallen in love with using the distiller's product, and it has revolutionized how we feed cattle.
That again was National Corn Growers Association Chairman Chris Edgington. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. Well, today's weather is pretty much a carbon copy of yesterday's, as we're just seeing some nice temperatures, a lot nicer than we've been seeing with those very frigid temperatures that ended off last week. Now, as for tomorrow and even into the weekend, we're looking at maybe temperatures ranging in the 40s for a while. So honestly, we're finally getting weather that fits the season that we're in, this late fall weather. So if you're looking to maybe hunt a little bit over this Thanksgiving weekend, or even if you're like me and you'd like to just go outside and maybe shoot some clay pigeons, you'll be able to feel your fingers after shooting for a while. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. And taking a look at what we have from the National Weather Service, I think there's some weather to be thankful for here. Today, clouds were building in from the southwest, and we saw some warmer temperatures, those highs ranging from the low to upper 50s. Tonight, we've got mostly cloudy skies with warmer temps as well, lows overnight ranging from the upper 30s to low 40s. And tomorrow, we've got cloudy skies with some scattered showers, and it'll be a great day to enjoy a hefty Thanksgiving meal and some great football. Highs should range from the upper 30s to low 50s. And taking a look at our affiliate Thanksgiving weather map, Cherokee will be mostly cloudy with a high around 39, Shenandoah cloudy and a chance for showers with a high of 47, Des Moines cloudy with showers again and a high around 50, Waterloo much of the same, cloudy with showers and a high of 47, Albia cloudy, a little bit of rain and a high of 51, and Clinton continues that trend with some clouds, a bit of rain showers, and a high around 49. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And you can find all of our video content as well as previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button to see when our videos go live. And don't forget as well our free Twice Daily Market podcasts on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching and we wish you a happy Thanksgiving. This has been Ag Matters PM.